Hello and welcome to another FX Centrum daily market analysis. For today, I decided to go through our cross asset list, our liquid cross asset list. So I will cover coffee market, WTI, US100, USD Japanese yen, pound dollar, euro dollar, gold market, US30, dollar index, Bitcoin, and aluminium. Of course, I will use our FX Centrum platform for that, and I will start with the coffee market first. So what we had here is the down break on the daily time frame of the multi-day consolidation and the breakout of the support at let's say 221.80 and 224.40 mark. So there was a breakout of the middle Bollinger Band and this short-term support. Market close. This was yesterday's candle, so near the low, and there is strong momentum that's going on to the downside, and this was one of our. So I alerted about to watch for the breakout this tight range. There we go. So the downside objective on the coffee market based on this down break is set at 204.20, which is the lower Bollinger Band. And of course, we have the previous swing highs area as well and cluster around 198, 107. So downside breakout in the coffee market. And you can see here the slow and fast line are sloping to the downside actually in the last 7 to 8 days. Now on the WTI, so we're very close and we're just testing the key support. So key support is 81.20. You can see that there was another fresh bear cross in the slow and fast line. The fast line now sloping to the downside. So this can be a good sign if you see the hourly time frame. There was a one down candle. There was a breakout here and a natural pullback, breakout, natural pullback. So seems like the sellers are in control at this point, and the downside breakout of the 81.20 and the hold below this level can be a good sign for a further drop towards 76.75 or 76.20 mark. WTI. On the US100, we had actually quite a strong rejection. This is it. I learned about this yesterday, so there will be a potential for the downside continuation, since I think that all this price action here that we had in the last few months was mostly like distribution process, and this downside breakout. This is a very clean downside breakout of the lower Bollinger Band and the support, and very consistent. So this was just a natural reaction, and we can see that there had a bear divergence in the rate of change, and I learned about also key resistance around 70,800, and we got this strong downside day close near the low, and now momentum shifted back to the downside, and we can see that there is a pretty good chance for the US100 to retest, let's say 17,000 mark. But of course, let's say short and midterm, there is even chance for much bigger drop on the US100. And the next down station, the secondary down station for the US100 will be around 16,000. I will say 16,100 mark, 16,200 mark. This area, this point here. If we take a look at the hourly time frame, you can see the clean downside break. Very nice consistency at this point, not just like, and you can see that there is almost no reaction overnight, and so this is a very good to see for the further downside continuation. Now USD Japanese yen is, as alert about potential, we can see some inside bars and inside candles, since this was quite a big range from 2 days ago, with a high at 160.24 and the low at 154.50 mark. So at this point, I would like to see more like a contraction consolidation, since volatility really went into the roof at this point, especially from 2 days ago. So I would like to see more consolidation and eventual breakout of resistance or support in order to confirm further direction. On the pound dollar, we had this down day, so you can see the gap is even bigger now. So this is a very good sign for the further downside movement. Now the Bollinger Bands are traction. So from my view, if market can retake 1.2450, there will be a chance for a drop towards the lower Bollinger Band at 1.2330, or even pin bar low at 1.2300 mark. I like this divergence in the rate of change, and I learned about this yesterday. And also you can see this gap between the fast and slow line is quite a heavy at this point. So now that naturally this fast line will eventually try to correct towards the slow line, and this will mean that this have a downside continuation of the pound dollar. $0 is pretty much similar, and we are breaking this channel more like a bear flag on a daily time frame. So I spoke about this exactly, in the last couple of days and yesterday, and we can see that there is a down break of 1.0670, and this is a good sign for at least retest of 1.0600 mark and eventual retest of the Bollinger Band low at 1.0500, let's say 50. 1.0550 mark. The slow and fast line are sloping to the upside, but as I said, the overall environment is to the downside, and there is a breakout of support and the rising trend line, more like a bear flag on the time frame. And we can see that gold is breaking to the downside, and now volatility is starting to increase again. We had a very tight range at this point, and 2292 key support, and we can see that market is breaking that. We also broke this pin bar low. A fast and slow line are sloping to the downside. I learned about this. So the next downside station, let's say on the gold market short term, is set at 2210, and then we have area around 2160 mark. Take a look at the hourly time frame. You can see consistency in this downside breakout, and that is a very good confirmation to see for the further downside movement. Now we have US30 at this point, and we have a pin bar low at 37,300. So you can see that the market is building the lower highs, and we decrease this gap, and there is a chance, especially if market can retake the low at 37,300, there will be a chance for a bigger drop towards even like 35,000 mark. So indices are poised for the downside moment from my view. Dollar index, this was such a nice rebound, and I spoke about this. All this activity on the daily time frame, and the dollar index was more like a support, even more like a bull flag formation. Now we're finally breaking, so the next station is 107 mark on dollar index. And we have a Bitcoin versus US dollar, such a strong downside move yesterday. Just to we retested 59,000, and now this is a critical point for Bitcoin. Our trading idea from last week is progressing very well. So we got this trading idea from around this area here, and this is already progressing well. And if you didn't subscribe on our YouTube channel, if you didn't subscribe, you can do that. And my suggestion is to do that. And of course, you can open a live account or demo account in just a few clicks. It will take a couple of minutes, and enjoy the great 100% deposit bonus and many benefits that you will see through our Centrum TV. So in case of the downside breakout, now this was our first downside objective on the downside trade idea from last week. Now the secondary downside objective in the Bitcoin is set at 53,000 mark. This is all the way down, like almost like $7,000 in the Bitcoin downside. So pay attention to that potential, and again, you can see the consistency on this down break. So it's not just that we broke very fast and just rejected and absorbed like here or here. We had quite a downside continuation here, and you can see market is already building traction. So that's a very positive to see for the further downside movement. And we have aluminum, which is now doing just a consolidation. So we have a 2611 resistance and support at 2538. And in case of the upside breakout of resistance, there will be a upside objective at, let's say, 2680. In case of the downside breakout of the support around 2533, there will be a potential for the downside movement towards, let's say, this 2389 mark. And that will be all for this FX Centrum daily market analysis. Feel free to subscribe on our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more updates. Have a good trading day.